Lectures. And before we get started, I just want to take a moment to thank all of my supporters and everyone for supporting my channel. And that being said, let's get on down to today's lecture, which is you gotta have a emergency savings account. That's critical. You have got to have an emergency savings account. And it's good if you can get that emergency savings account with enough money in that emergency savings account where it'll pay all of your bills for a solid year, or 9 months, or 6 months, or 3 months, or 1 month. You gotta start somewhere. And there's so many reasons why people you need to have an emergency savings account. And number one tip is, for most of all, treat your emergency savings account like a bill. Treat it like a bill where you have a certain amount of money going to that emergency savings account every payday. Treat it like a bill. I don't care if you start out putting $25 in there a paycheck or $50 in there a paycheck. Start somewhere and progressively build it up. But you gotta treat that emergency savings account like a bill, to the point where you are not dependent on credit cards, you're not dependent on borrowing money from anyone or getting a personal loan, even though I don't fool with credit cards. But you gotta start somewhere. And it can be something as simple as, if you're going to work every day, or you're going to school, or you're going about your everyday duties, instead of eating out for lunch, take your lunch to work. And all that money you will have been spending going out, start throwing that money into your emergency savings account. You can start just as simple as that. If you find yourself on your en route to work, you're stopping at a coffee shop or a sandwich shop, or you get a breakfast sandwich or a coffee drink every single morning en route to work, that adds up, people, to a lot of money. Reclaim that money. Make your own coffee. You will save a lot of money. And then start slamming all of that money that you would have spent on a weekly basis at the coffee shop or breakfast sandwich into your emergency savings account. I'm telling you, this money will begin to add up week after week after week after week. And you look up at the end of the month, you don't save $400, $500, or $600 just like that. It's all about shifting your mindset, behavior changes. Because any type of emergency can come up where you may have to pull money from that emergency savings account to take care of that financial emergency versus creating new debt. See, that's what get a lot of people in trouble. It ain't even got to be no emergency. It can be your car broke down. You may need repairs done on your car, something go wrong in your home, or unexpected bill, or your electrical bill may be a little higher than usual because we're in the summer months. Various reasons. Your child may need something from school, or something in school, or whatever. Various of reasons why you may need these additional funds. But if you get into the habit of treating your emergency savings account like a bill, you're faithfully putting money into the emergency savings account. Every time you get paid, you're faithfully putting money into an emergency savings account every time you come across additional money. By the grace of God, I just been slammed with a lot of additional money this year, literally out of nowhere. So what I did with all this additional money is I invested into my financial portfolio, number one. I put some of that money that came out of nowhere into my emergency savings account because I wasn't expecting the money anyway. So that's another tip and strategy. When you come across additional money, rather it's your income tax money or bonus from your job or just money for whatever reason. Many times I went to my mailbox and there'd be a check in my mail and say, oh, okay. And I take that money and put it in my financial portfolio, or emergency savings account without skipping a beat. Even though I'm fully retired, I still invest money into my emergency savings account. I'm still investing into my financial portfolio. I'm still on a budget, and I still treat my emergency savings account like a bill. Real talk, people. Because you never know. It don't matter if you keep up with all of the maintenance on your car from time to time. It's just things just need to be taken care of with your car. You want to be able to take care of those car maintenance expenses without creating new debt. This is real talk. There's that train. And there goes that train. But like I was saying, it's, you never know what type of unexpected bill that may occur. But I telling about if even if you start out, like I said, getting 1 month worth of money in your emergency savings account, that'll cover a 1 month worth of bills and graduate up to 2 months and 5 months and 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. And once you get in the habit of doing that, it will become automatic. It becomes saving money and investing money literally will become automatic without second thought. You won't even miss the money. But you gotta start somewhere, because if you really sit down and take a look at your budget, I'll be safe to say on a weekly basis and on a monthly basis, if you really sit down and look at what you're spending, you can probably easily recoup $400 or $500 a month that you're throwing away. Rather it's going out to eat or swiping that debit card every time you go somewhere, swiping when you on the weekend, when you go into various different stores and gas stations and Walmart and donuts and Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts. If you really just sit down and analyze take a look at your bank statement. I guarantee you can take a look at your bank statement for the past 3 months. If you take a look at your bank statements and really see all of this unnecessary spending that's going on, because you ain't keeping track, I guarantee you will easily be able to eliminate a lot of unnecessary spending and easily recoup $400 or $500 right there in front of you. And you take that $400 or $500 and slam it into your emergency savings account. Because when I was living in financial disruption from 2007 to 2012, one of the first things I did, I sat my behind down and I got a piece of paper and I got a pencil. I went old school and I drew a line down that piece of paper. And on that piece of paper, on the left side of that paper, I wrote down every bill I had in the world on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side of that piece of paper, I wrote down what could I literally live without? What can I eliminate? Or what can I reduce? I eliminate all subscriptions, Netflix, everything. I got a better deal on my car insurance. I eliminated a lot of stuff. And so by the time I wrote everything down that I could eliminate or reduce, that added up to $1,000, literally, right, immediately. When I eliminate things that I really didn't need or reduce things that may have a savings, when I did that, I immediately tallied up $1,000 a month that I was throwing away. $12,000 a year that I was throwing away. So when I eliminated those unnecessary expenses or made some adjustments, what I immediately did with that $1,000 that I was immediately able to recoup immediately, I slammed that $1,000 into my emergency savings account. I was laser focused. And I looked up 10 months later, I had an additional $10,000 saved up in my emergency savings account without even skipping a beat, people. This is real talk. And back then, I was living in financial destruction, drowning in a sea of debt, borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, all of my bank accounts overdraft people, car note 5 months in arrears. And when I sat my behind down, because I said, I can't continue this, and the rest is history. I ain't never in my adult life ever been able to save 10 grand in 10 months. And it's higher than that now. So if I was able to do it back then, drowning in a sea of debt, not a penny to my name, every bank account overdraft, car note 5 months in arrears, default on multiple credit cards. So if I was able to reclaim $1,000 a month with zero money in my pocket, because I got that piece of paper and I did a cost benefit analysis and I was laser focused and I wrote down everything that I could live without, ain't lying. And I reduced a lot of things and right in front of me without even realizing, throwing away $1,000 every single month. And that was an eye opener. And I'm telling you, you got to sit down. You got to get that paper. You got to write down every bill that you have in the world. And you need to really ask yourself, can you really do without this until you can meet your financial goal? So you can get 5 months worth of money in your account that'll cover 5 months of your bill without even batting an eye. 6 months worth of bills, 2 years worth of bills sitting in your account. So any kind of financial emergency that comes up, you can handle it without question. Real talk. I remember in 2024, I've been laser focused for years now. I can remember in 2024, earlier 2024, I had an unexpected bill that hit me in the amount of $10,000. I literally paid that bill off in 2 business days. The entire bill was paid. I didn't borrow from nobody. I don't do no credit cards. I pulled that from money from my emergency savings account. And the only reason why it took me 2 business days to pay $10,000 because I had to call my bank and I had to ask my bank what is the highest amount that I can debit from that I can use my money on my debit card without the bank thinking it's fraud. And they say that your limit is $5 grand a day. So one day, on a Monday, I did a transaction for $5,000. On a Tuesday, I did that second transaction for $5,000. Within 2 business days, the bill was paid in full, people. And I didn't lose any sleep over that. I didn't skip a beat. The bill was paid. I'll pull from my emergency savings account, and the rest is history. So I'm telling you, this technique worked for me. But you got to be focused. You got to have a shift in your mindset about your finances. You got to treat your savings account like a bill. You got to treat that emergency savings account like a bill, just like you pay any other bill. You know, rather your rent, your mortgage, your car note, car insurance, cell phone bill, eating out, food, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donut, going shopping online. Treat it like any other bill. Treat that savings account like any other bill. I'm telling you, you'll begin to see your numbers rise and rise and rise. And while you're along the way, do not create new debt. Don't go out and create new debt while you're on a mission to increase your emergency savings account and increase your financial portfolio. Don't create new debt as you eliminate debt. As you eliminate debt, then the money that you would have been spending on that debt, now you take that same money and you pump it into your emergency savings account. I was able to pay a 30-year mortgage off 20 years early. So when I paid my mortgage off, the money I would have been spending on my mortgage, now I'm pumping that money up into my emergency savings account and financial portfolio. When I paid off my car, that money I would have been paying on that car note, I didn't go out and get another high-end car, another new car. No. That when I paid that car, I keep the maintenance up on it, and that money I would have been spending on a car note, now I was slamming it into my emergency savings account, slamming it additional money into my financial portfolio. That's the secret right there, people. As you eliminate debt or reduce debt, then that money you recouping or that money you are regaining, now you divert that money into your emergency savings account versus creating new debt. Because what a lot of people do when they pay off a car, they go and get another newer car, a high-end vehicle. Now they got a $2,500 car note. Then when they pay the mortgage off, what they do is they turn around and get a bigger mortgage. No, you don't need all that doggone room. Now your mortgage $4,000 a month. No, when you pay your mortgage off and you pay your car note off, when you pay off those credit cards, don't go create new credit card debt. No, take that money you would have been throwing away, making the credit card companies billionaires, cancel that credit card and pump that money into your emergency savings account. And I'm telling you, you can use your debit card just like you use a credit card. But the difference is when you're using that debit card, that money coming directly from your checking account and the bill is paid the minute you swipe, and you have not created new debt. And don't believe that myth that you got to have a credit card to raise your credit score. I ain't had a credit card in about 7 or 8 years, and my credit score at 850, people. That's the highest it can go. So don't believe that myth that you got to have a credit card to raise your credit score. There's many factors that has an impact on raising your credit score, and one of those factors is that debt to income ratio. Because if your debt is high, I don't care how many credit cards you got, and if you maxed out on all of them, carrying a high balance, that's going to have a negative impact on your credit score, and your credit score is going to dip down to 600, 500, 400, 300. Real talk. It's all about accountability and responsibility in terms of controlling your money, mastering your money, saving your money, creating that emergency savings account. I'm living proof, people. I'm living proof. When I rose above my financial situation in 2012, the rest is history. And that's real talk. Nobody could have ever told me that I would have exited up out of this workforce September of 2023 with multiple retirement checks hitting me for the rest of my life, debt-free, people. I don't owe nobody nothing. All the bills I have in the world is less than $700 a month and about to be lower than that. Real talk. That's because I entered retirement debt-free. I don't owe nobody nothing. And that's power. So what that does is, when I get my 2 retirement checks every month, I reinvest my retirement income. I don't even touch the money. I literally reinvest 100% of my retirement income into another retirement account because I don't need the money. And the little bit of bills I do have, I pay them little bit of bills off the money I generate under my company, Passion Social Resource Center. My YouTube check, I don't touch that money. I reinvest that money. That's because I don't owe nobody nothing. That's power. So that free me up. So when I get ready to travel this world, I'm on the trajectory path to go see all of the 7 wonders of the world debt-free. That's real talk, people. But I'm telling you, you gotta start somewhere. You gotta start somewhere. I can clearly remember when I was living in financial destruction from 2007 to 2012, I literally did not have 2 cents to my name, getting up and going to work every day. Better yet, had 2 jobs. Default on every bill imaginable. Real talk. Everything was behind. Real talk. And when you get tired of your check gone from the minute you get it, your check gone before it even hit your bank account is gone. When you get tired of living like that, if somebody like me can rise above that, out of financial destruction to financial freedom, anybody can do it. All these skills I'm talking about, I ain't learning in college. Only thing college taught me was how to get in debt. School loan debt, credit card debt. No, it took me going through financial destruction and having a spiritual battle with God in 2012, and the rest is history. This is real talk. There are so many people, you may be one of them, living in financial destruction right now. Have no money in your emergency savings account. If a $400 emergency was to occur, you wouldn't even be able to handle a $400 emergency, let alone a $10,000 emergency. This is real talk, people. $400 emergency. Most everyday people getting up and going to work every day, many of them got multiple jobs, cannot even handle a $400. I personally know people in my real world, in the real world, who got a 6-figure income, making 6 figures a year, And if a $400 emergency was to occur, they could not handle that $400 emergency. How do I know? Because they have called me up asking me, can I borrow $400? I say, no, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do for you. I'm gonna impart some knowledge on you. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you some skills, some useful skills in regards to some things you can do to rise above your financial situation, because you're making six figures. You know, a lot of people ain't making no six figures, and you're living but you're living $1 million a year lifestyle. You're making six figures. So let me drop some knowledge on you if you really want it. That's all I can do for you, because I'm not in this to enable nobody. No, let me empower you with some real talk. Let me turn you on to this book, Awake Financial Freedom. I lay it all out in many of the things I did in my book titled Awake Financial Freedom, that I still use my own book, Awake Financial Freedom, as a financial resource, as a resource to sustain my financial health. Real talk, people. And the rest is history. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna drop that knowledge on you, because I'm telling you, I know many people making six figures, but because they're living that $1 million a year lifestyle, they're doing whatever they can to keep up with the Joneses. But on the flip side, if a $400 emergency was to occur, they could not handle a $400 emergency, and something is wrong with that. So share this information. I've been wanting to touch bases on this topic for a while now, and that's all I have. Simplify, simple fidelity, and I'm going to leave you in the care of your own conscience. Have a great day.